What did you guys think of Gringotts? The Gringotts heist.
You know, it went.
I'm like, I need to refresh.
It worked out really well for how poorly it was planned.
Yeah.
I mean, it does sound like they were planning things with Grip Hook for a while, but when they were actually executing the plan, it felt like there was a lot they didn't consider. You know, like it felt like they were still kind of making it up as they went along.
Did they also know that things were multiplying when you touched them? Like, that's the only thing that I was like, did he warn them?
Like, yeah, like,
what would happen?
Did they discuss that? Like, hey, Grip Hook, you're good at this. What's going on? Like, what charms do people use in their vaults? But maybe he would say, oh, nobody would do charms in their vaults. It doesn't make sense. They're protected because they're in Gringotts. They don't need anything else. It's the safest place. So maybe that is so unique. Maybe that's not even normal to have charms. And maybe Harry should be saying, oh, well, I should go to my vault and put a few extra charms just in case. Because now we know it can be done. You can break into Gringotts with just a little bit of polyjuice and a wand. So I don't know, something about it felt a little bit. It was amazing that they made it out of there, and it was only because it was so hectic. You couldn't have planned it any better. Obviously, it just went. It went perfectly because they made it out, but it could have gone wrong a lot of ways.
Well, there was a few moments where Grip Hook almost seemed surprised, and that was one of them. When they put the charm on it, when they touched it, he's like, "Oh, this is what they did there. They put every charm and like spell or every like precaution against intruders because they knew Bellatrix was, I guess, in that situation. Like even the
or is it because she's like the oldest? They said they were the most old, like most ancient.
They were one of the most ancient,
families. So maybe they get higher protection or something.
Right. It does make sense. And then even that whole thing with the waterfall was so cool.
Yeah.
Like a waterfall of something that takes off all charms and spells, like really cleanses you all the way through. Pretty cool. I'm surprised we hadn't seen that already. It must be a kind of advanced magic in some way. But I feel like that's the kind of thing you'd have to do before, for example, a court case. Harry's coming in, making sure there's no polyjuice thing going on. Just give a quick splash on the face, honestly, you know? Just something, because something to negate polyjuice. I'm surprised that wasn't used. Again, if this kind of thing was around a little more, it comes in a little perfume thing, a little spray. Someone walks in, you just... Psst, psst.
Yeah, remember I said something about like shaking hands or something you could see? That the polyjuice like went away or something.
And we never saw a very reliable check on polyjuice. And then in moments like when Lupin shows up at the house and then walks away with the tiara, that now we're like, oh, that actually was a little sketchy for a second. It would have been nice, just a little quick check. And all these times when all the guys came to the Dursleys to bring Harry, I feel like Harry should have had some kind of double check. Yeah, sure, secret word, that's a good start. But then also a little polyjuice check on each person.
It is interesting, actually, what they could do for Wizard Court. Like, if you go before court, you have to take Veritaserum.
Yeah, right.
You go through this little shower thing. You have to, like there's a bunch of precautions I feel like they could take that would actually be really, really valuable for court.
Yep. And then I keep wanting to call it a remember all, but the sneakoscope. I feel like, again, with that kind of thing, why isn't there a giant sneakoscope behind that goblin's desk to be like, oh, this thing's going wild now that you walked up to my desk. So something bad is happening here. I can't let you in. But it also made a lot of sense that they knew something was wrong and they put the defenses up. It would have felt fishy if they didn't. Like, this is the safest place. They have so many precautions. And then a couple kids with polyjuice made it in. Well, they had an inside man, so it is different. But I thought it was well written. It was a fun chapter to read. It was scary.
I know. And then the next chapter we got was really great. I'm excited to talk about that one because that's when we learned the final hiding place. That was like a dense chapter with lots of questions about that one.
This reminded me of the ride. Now I remember one of the rides from Universal.
Oh, you took the rides?
Yeah, I went on the rides, but I didn't know what I was seeing. And now I'm remembering being in, like, I think it was the cart.
Yeah, I think it's
going to Gringotts Bank, which I didn't realize. Oh, it was Gringotts Bank was the lobby that you waited in the line for.
Whoa.
And then you see a dragon. I don't remember like anything, but now I'm like, oh wait, that was probably this scene was a ride.
And it's funny because you even mentioned that during the live read, the dragon that's on top of the Gringotts when you walk to Universal. That is this scene. It's like great.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
That's
like,
cool.
The flashback. I can't remember like anything else, but
wait. So in Universal, the Diagon Alley that's there is like from this movie.
Mm-hmm. It seems I guess like it because
in my head it still felt older, but I guess Diagon Alley does feel old. But I was thinking it was what's the new series that they're making now? Fantastic Beasts. I kind of thought of it like that because it felt like it's 100 years old or it's like older or something.
That's kind of just the general feel of Hogwarts.
It just has that like old Hogsmeade, mystical vibe. Okay, cool.
And of like all.
It was so fun going not knowing anything, so I can't even imagine what it'd be like when you know every little like thing.
I know, and we're looking for hidden gems all over the place.
It's gonna be so fun when we go. There's gonna be so much good stuff. Oh my gosh.
And the rides. I heard that new ride's good too. The Hagrid's bike.
Oh yeah?
One. It's a bike with the sidecar and it's like a roller coaster type thing.
That does sound fun.
Oh yeah. And then it it looks cool. And it goes up and then it goes backwards through the whole thing. Whoa, they got rid of something. Wait, how is that a spoiler alert?
I think that was I think they got rid of like a Yeti ride or something like that. Something.
But yeah, I've heard good things.
How many days are we gonna have to be there? We're gonna be there for like a week.
No, you could do it in like 2 days.
Yeah, maybe a day in each of the parks. Yeah,
those are those days you just go, like you hit the ground running, and you have like thousands of steps in a day, and you're just like you can't move at the end of the day, and then you're ready for the next one. It's like Disney.
It's definitely not vacation. It's definitely like you're going to get a task done or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like our honeymoon. Just keep going. See everything you can because we're only here once. Which is not exactly true.
All right. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
Jen.
Danny.
And Kristen.
This is Sire. And this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. So let's go through these chapters. Give me a quick. These are pretty like basic chapters, but give me a quick summary of Gringotts, and then we'll talk about a few points in here.
Jen?
I'm so bad with names, but Gringotts, it's when they made a plan, Harry, Hermione, Ron, with Griphook to go into Gringotts and go into the Vault of Bellatrix's. They use Polyjuice to look as Bellatrix. Ron and Harry are in their Harry's invisibility cloak, and Griphook is escorting Polyjuice Hermione to get in.
Because actually it was Griphook was on Harry's back and Ron had a disfigured face.
Oh, They
like transfigured his face.
That's right.
Kind of similar to the bee sting thing with Harry maybe or like something.
And shrunk or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's why you do the summaries.
I love when you give
No, I know. It's so good.
It's one of my favorite things.
And then, but the chapter doesn't even end until they're actually out on the dragon's back.
Because I wasn't done with my summary.
Oh, yeah. Keep going. I want to hear more of your summary. What else happens in this chapter? You were supposed
to fix that for me and then let me finish.
Oh, okay. Continue.
Yeah. And then they find what they're looking for. They find the cup, right? It was the Raven? No, not Raven. Hufflepuff's cup. And then they escape like barely with the cup, but not the sword because they went in with, they did have the Gryffindor sword with them. Griphook took it, that we think. Whoa. And they escaped with the dragon of that was guarding the vault. And that's all I remember. And then they dropped off in some forest somewhere.
It's perfect.
Right? I don't know what I missed, Danny.
No, you nailed it. That's it.
You nailed everything. That was great.
They did have the sword, right? That's what happened.
Yeah, Griphook took the sword. They were using the sword to pick up the cup, I think.
Oh, yeah, to like not touch
it,
right?
I forget exactly how the whole kerfuffle happened, but eventually Griphook gets it,
But Grip
doesn't
Hook
give it
also
back,
like tattled on them,
then
right?
runs off. Yeah, he turned pretty quick.
I was like, if they didn't lie to him, maybe he wouldn't have turned though.
Yeah, I feel like they brought it on themselves a little bit. You know, like
interesting.
It's just like I guess I respected Harry so much. I'm thinking back to when he first went to the Ministry with Mr. Weasley, and he made a wish at the wishing well. And then afterwards, he came back after being cleared at his trial, whatever, and he throws like, you know, a couple galleons in there, whatever it was. And it was like there was something good about that. He made like a wish. He said he was gonna like go through. It was like being a man of your word to whatever it is.
Yeah.
And this just felt like he was planning on deceiving, and I'm not down with it.
Yeah.
But then it does feel like there's a wizard goblin thing of like they do kind of get feisty and deceitful and kind of like trying to trick each other. So I don't know, but I do feel like rightfully Griphook got the sword. They agreed to it. They can't be mad, but we're allowed to be mad at Griphook for running away and being like, "They're here, they're breaking in, they're being whatever he said."
How are they gonna get rid of the Horcrux though?
Yeah, that's a great question for this chapter. How are they going to get rid of it without the sword?
I feel like they have to find Griphook and get the sword back. Like, what else can kill? I don't know.
Yeah, what else could?
It didn't seem like anything else except the venom of a basilisk, but that's dead.
Well, you know, I feel like...
Oh, wait, what about the poison from the spider?
Yeah, because we had said that. Some racula venom. Acromantula venom. That feels pretty good, right? Like, they're big magical creatures. What about, like, the fire of a dragon? You know, like... There's got to be something else with...
Yeah, but you can't control a dragon. You can control.
Could Norbert
like...
come back?
It's gonna be full circle. Everything
full circle
Norbert.
Charlie could bring some dragons in that, you know, not trained. It's not like he's a dragon jewelry dude who's just like, let me fire this, but more of just, put it on a piece of meat that the dragon wants to eat. He'll flame it all together. Medium rare.
It's like Smog finds the one ring.
I don't know, only because Dumbledore had trouble getting rid of it with
magic, so. Yeah, you're right. Well,
I don't know.
That's another weird thing, though. Did Dumbledore try to get rid of them? Or if he can open the
snitch. Maybe there's something in there
in the snitch. Help.
Yeah.
Even though we think the ring's in there, but
could it be something else that's in there?
Why would you need to hold on to that ring though, if it's not a Horcrux anymore?
Yeah, true. If it's already destroyed and it's not a Horcrux, you wouldn't need to hold on to it. Would you?
I don't know.
I feel like once a Horcrux is destroyed,
like, do they still have the locket with them? Right? Probably, right?
Yeah, probably. I think they do. I think they put it back in their bag. Like, sure, carry it around if you got a magic bag that it doesn't take up space. But could anything else be in the snitch?
Even going back to the beginning of this chapter, there's one little note where they're talking about Bellatrix's wand. And I'm curious what you guys would do with Bellatrix if you had her wand. Would you snap it in two? Because that's what Hermione kind of says. Because Hermione goes, I hate this thing, she said in a low voice. I really hate it. It feels all wrong. It doesn't work properly for me. It's like a bit of her. It'll probably help you get in character, though, said Ron. Think of what that wand's done. But that's my point, said Hermione. This wand is the wand that tortured Neville's mom and dad, and who knows how many other people. This is the one that killed Sirius. Are they smart to use this thing, or should they snap it in two?
It feels dangerous to use it. But they weren't using it for spells. They were just using it for identification, so it's good that they didn't break it yet. Breaking it does feel pretty good. But I'm starting to assign some sentience to these wands, and breaking it feels a little mean. I'm like, is there something else you could do to it?
It was a bad one. Get rid of it.
But you could teach an old wand new tricks.
What? Oh, because it's like a wife for you?
No, it's like a tool. It's like like a horse.
Relive that. Never gonna live that down now.
Where it's. Think of it like, let's say it's a dog or it's a horse or something you can train, something that has a certain level of loyalty. So it feels a little like, if it does have sentience, can you really break it? Can you be like, yeah, I don't like this, or I'm going to try and stick it to Bellatrix?
Just because you think it does, but it doesn't.
But it has something.
But what do you think about even the idea
Magic.
of the allegiance being one? So Harry has this whole thing in his head where he's like, he says, Harry looked down at the Hawthorn wand that had once belonged to Draco Malfoy. He had been surprised but pleased to discover that it worked for him, at least as well as Hermione's had. Remembering what Ollivander had told him, the secret of the working wands, Harry thought he knew what Hermione's problem was. She had not won the Walnut Wand's allegiance by taking it personally from Bellatrix. So again, with the sentience of wands, is that like a legitimate thing? Do wands really sense when the owner has changed? And Hermione's definitely not the actual owner of this wand, but will this wand like try to get back to its master? Is it like the One Ring?
Yeah, I would think so. If Hermione tried to use this wand to fight Bellatrix, I would say she could not win. Not with this wand. So it feels like it wouldn't be loyal to Hermione. And because of that, Hermione can't feel safe using it. And so does that mean snap it? Maybe. Or lock it away somewhere? Maybe. Or do you do the charm to see what are the last spells done with this wand? That's what I'm saying. Investigate this wand a little bit. Because what is that thing they were doing? We thought you could only do it like once or twice, but it sounds like they were doing it for a bunch. You can like look through the previous spells a wand has done. Is there a priori incantatum thing? Could you maybe bring people back? You know, like what happened with Harry and Voldemort, some kind of spiritual level, bringing people out of the wand. Well, how many people has Bellatrix killed with this wand? Could you bring people back with it? So I was trying to think of along those lines. Like if you're trying to really stick it to Bellatrix, there might be a few things you could do, and breaking it might be the best. But there's more good you could do with this wand, I think. But I don't know what.
Yeah, that's a great question.
And wait, if this is the wand that tortured Neville's parents, and you can go back and like undo spells if you have a twin core or something, is there any chance you could bring Neville's parents like some kind of restoration? Could you go that many years back?
That's a fascinating
with a
question.
wand? Because then I'm just thinking, again, controlled environment, priori incantatum, but could you even do that if someone isn't holding it? But if you could find a twin core or figure out, do we know what the core is? Can you pluck another hair from that unicorn? Can you get another heartstring from that dragon? Can you find, well, I don't think it was Phoenix because she, I don't know. But the point is, could you find or make another wand that could then start undoing some of the bad that her wand has done and potentially restore part of the world that she's broken apart? With people like Neville's parents being the top of that list. But Bellatrix has killed people. And even in that final exchange, did we see her kill anyone right there? Or no, she was sending Draco outside with some of those people that Greyback was with, the Snatchers, right? But I was thinking you could make a deal with Greyback or one of those. Not like you'd want to make deals with them, but you could kind of say, hey, we can try and undo this and bring back your friend who Bellatrix killed. Or there's got to be something. So who else could she have killed? What else could you do?
It is actually a really interesting idea to think of a wand being able to undo what it's done. Because there's something in this where Hermione, remember when Hermione sees the stuff about Horcruxes and she says there's a way to fix Horcruxes, which is remorse. And she's like, it takes everything in you. I wonder if wands can actually feel something like that, where if you cast a spell or like if the allegiance changed from Bellatrix to someone else who's like a healer, if that healer was able to use that wand and then go ahead and fix someone and that wand maybe felt remorse, because wands seem to have some kind of sentience.
Right.
So maybe the wand is actually able to, the only thing that can actually fix something that it's done.
Right.
It's a fascinating idea.
But if allegiance can be turned with a wand, it feels like there's a balance to a lot of things. There's the harsh way of changing allegiance, which is killing the person who previously had it and taking their wand. But is there a good way to change allegiance? Like you take the wand, not by murder or anything like that, and then is there a way to do it gently or with love or with showing the wand a better way, proving over time that you are a better wizard or worth being loyal to?
It's like in the movies, there's like a training montage for the wand.
Yeah, but either way, I don't think snapping her wand would be the right move, but I think there's good that can be done with her wand somehow. I just don't know how yet.
Who do you think sent Dobby? Because Harry has this thing where he looks, it's kind of sad. He says he realized now that they could hardly have laid Dobby to rest in a more beautiful place, but Harry ached with sadness to think of leaving him behind. Looking down on the grave, he wondered yet again how the elf had known where to come to rescue them. His fingers moved absentmindedly to the little pouch still strung around his neck, through which he could feel the jagged mirror fragment in which he had been sure he had seen Dumbledore's eye. And the sound of the door opening made him look around. So again, we've talked about this theory for a long time, but any final theories on who could have sent Dobby?
Dumbledore is my top thought here. Mm-hmm. A little bit of an Obi-Wan Force moment.
So you're saying Dumbledore from beyond the grave. So you think Dumbledore is dead?
I think he's dead, yeah.
Jen, do you think that he's alive?
Oh, no. I want to say yes. I've said that before, though, right? I can't remember if I flip-flop or not. There's something with the mirror that makes me think that, like, he's still a version of him. I don't know. Or he made... It's just because he gave up. It felt like he gave up so easily, even though I know he was drained from the Horcrux. Yeah, the cursed potion or something. But
so you're saying like he almost like willingly gave up, like that there's just some ruse around it? Well, because
I don't know, with like Snape. Well, he didn't have his wand. I forget. He didn't have his wand, and Harry was frozen. But he did have some, or he froze Harry with his wand before he was
instead of fighting Draco.
Yeah, that's how Draco was able to disarm him. Yeah, so Dumbledore didn't have his wand at all.
But then it was weird because what if he let Harry? Oh, he thought Harry would fight them, right? Instead of going to get help.
That's why he mobilized him.
Okay.
And Harry was under the invisibility cloak, so nobody knew he was there.
Right.
So he was just trying to keep Harry safe.
But it's still something with Snape that I don't like. He trusted him, and Snape had so many opportunities to like. There's still something weird there, so that's why I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it was like a fake out, like kill me, but we did a pact, and like when you kill me, I actually don't die. I look like I'm dead, but I'm not because of the spell that they did.
Right,
because something like Snape and the Malfoys, that unbreakable
unbreakable vow, yeah.
So I don't know if it's something like that. Because if his eye is in the mirror and the mirror has two parts, that person has to be somewhere else. Unless it's someone that looks like Dumbledore. And maybe it's like the sister that died, but maybe she's not dead. And she's always been behind the scenes. And she had the wand, the Elder Wand.
There is more to the story with the sister for sure.
What was her name? Ariana or something?
Yeah.
Like, what if they pretended she died, but then she was going to hold on to all these those three things, the stone, the wand, and the invisibility cloak.
Honestly, her holding them is interesting.
And what if she has the same eyes as Dumbledore?
Yeah. Because that's been a theme too. Like, well, then I was just going to say Kendra or other members of the family. Like eyes being the same child, mother, etc.
Only because she came up so much, and then all of a sudden the story went away. So like, what happened?
It has to come back. We need to get the end of Grindelwald, Ariana, Dumbledore, like that whole thing. Even Aberforth and why he punched Dumbledore and what's the deal with this goat stuff.
Or maybe
like all of that has to make more sense.
Grindelwald had a crush on Ariana, and they pretended she died, and he would sacrifice himself by being in the tower for the love of his life.
Which would make sense, but how? That, like, it's still like, in theory, that does something. It does kind of make sense.
And they use the mirrors to communicate to each other.
Who did?
The tower guy.
The tower guy and Dumbledore?
Ariana.
And Ariana. A separate set of mirrors, or mirrors that eventually went to Sirius?
Maybe it's exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
That's a theory.
There's one thing that I want to poke in as a whole for this.
As our theory?
Yeah. Is that it's mentioned in this chapter, but you have to mean the unforgivable curses. So Moody, or fake Moody, says, you can all point your wands at me and say Avada Kedavra, and I wouldn't get a nosebleed. So I think that the line is there was revulsion and hatred etched in every line of his face.
Yeah, I do
and when he
remember
said
that.
Avada Kedavra, you have to mean that in order to kill someone.
Yep.
So that's the one tough thing as a get around for Snape being potentially good, is that he just seemed like he wanted to kill Dumbledore in that moment.
And Dumbledore was begging for his life.
Yeah.
That's why, to me, I'm like,
But
I want
could
that to
have
be true.
Voldemort put a curse on Snape?
Imperious him, so he's like acting through him. Interesting.
Acting through Snape.
So maybe Dumbledore trusted Snape, and Snape might have trusted him, but then he...
But that would only work if it was a bond between Snape and Dumbledore, and Voldemort caught them doing something funky, and then is still using Snape today, but not killing him for disloyalty. Like, it just feels a little too...
Yeah,
forgiving.
but Snape is really good at the...
legitimacy?
Yeah. So he could make him believe something else, Voldemort. Because I wonder...
So Snape Imperious Voldemort to Imperious him to kill Dumbledore. But why, though?
Not Imperious. Like, he's able to turn off his... Maybe he could create, like, a different scene in his brain for Voldemort. Because he seems really good. Well, no, because Harry was able to see stuff that he didn't want him to see. I don't know.
Yeah,
Let's just throw everything
like, I really
out there.
do want that to be possible, because Dumbledore said, trust Snape, trust Snape. But what I can't figure out is why he was saying that. And I do think that's why I think betrayal, the act of betraying, does something on a deep ancient magic, muggle magic type of like level.
Oh, you're
that
using
is gonna
my
be
word, ancient
good.
magic, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Where I feel like it had to be something along those lines, but if it wasn't, I still feel like I need something I can sink my teeth into.
But
like, what was accomplished with
also,
Dumbledore dying?
Every time the killing curse was used, if someone was loving over someone so much more, it backfired, and it was like a protection spell for Harry, right? Because like I wonder if even Dumbledore, when he was dying, he was showing a vow of like love to him, that he used his last like spell to save Harry instead of kill.
Ooh, so it wasn't necessarily like
so
a
he's
mobilizing.
like,
yeah, it was like
a double. Harry has like double love protection.
Right.
And then Dumbledore always said that the love overpowers evil, because even Voldemort did not want to be in Harry's body in the Ministry of Magic, because the love, he didn't like it. So I wonder, I don't know what that looks like, but if that's playing into Dumbledore not being fully dead, or his spirit can come into another form, or maybe if the Elder Wand, I don't know, maybe it goes into the Elder Wand, if that is Elder Wand, and Voldemort, when he tries to use it, it backfires on him, because evil versus love.
Elder Wand.
I have no idea. But
I like a lot of that. The protecting Harry, the love, something else, reinforcing a protection on Harry, and even growing grief within Harry, which is tough but good, because when Harry was grieving over Dobby, that gave him a certain resolve and resiliency mentally, that he was able to start shutting off his brain to Voldemort. And grief comes from underlying love. So I feel like the same thing with Dumbledore dying. He might have known the value of that grief long term, or maybe he was trying to unite people. I also keep thinking back to that Phoenix song, the Song of Lament. Song, music, etc. So I'm like, was that something?
Yeah,
was
well,
that
he always has these far-fetched things, and then they become real.
Well, I love that it was so early on in the books, but it just hasn't come up that much. But I'm trying to think of reasons that Dumbledore's death could have been planned by Dumbledore on purpose and have it actually make sense.
Also, what about the Phoenix? Like, the Phoenix can't heal someone.
I don't think it can bring people back from the dead, but it can heal. It sounds like it can heal almost anything, but not an unforgivable curse.
Well, not the Avada Kedavra.
Yeah,
I'm curious if it actually could heal, like if someone's in pain with the Cruciatus curse. I wonder if you dip a little Phoenix tears on that.
Yeah, like what's the extent of it? Or you think of mental things like with Neville's parents.
Also, he like Dumbledore had the whole will plan, so he knew I don't know. It just seems, if he thought he was so powerful, He could
having a
defeat
backup
anything. Having the backup plan with a
Mhm.
will assigned to all of them.
I do think he had a backup plan. And that's what I think this mirror thing was. I just don't know what it was, because if you're seeing Dumbledore's eye, I don't think it was a living Dumbledore's eye. I think it was
Like a spirit
maybe
protection.
But I also think it could be something he set up before he died, because even who was it? Moody or somebody was able to set it up at Grimmauld Place, that like the shadow of Dumbledore that would run at someone at the door. Wasn't that what it was?
Or was it was like dust.
Yeah, like just like, and that was someone who wasn't even Dumbledore that was able to do that just to scare someone, like if it was Snape who was coming in the door. So I feel like Dumbledore, while he was alive, could have purposefully left something like
would help Harry.
Yeah, or just like some kind of spell, maybe the same thing that we have with Voldemort's name. If someone who is a student at Hogwarts says help, then it connects these things. Or, Dobby, he just gives the other part of the fragment to Dobby, or maybe it is a spiritual thing and he can reach out on some level, but I just don't know. It's hard to picture. Or if he did something kind of a little more intense and tried to leave a piece of himself, a Horcrux for good somewhere. Or maybe there's something more to mirrors. Mirrors do get a little weird.
This whole story hinges on mirrors, guys. So
I mean, the Mirror of Erised, pretty legit.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen much more with mirrors. But I think of just the Bloody Mary thing and like creepy stuff in the Muggle world about mirrors, like being like, looking into other dimensions. Or I just started watching Everything Everywhere All at Once, and there's like a mirror thing there. I'm only like 20 minutes into the movie, but it's so the mirror means something, but where's this other piece? Where was it left? Why is it Dumbledore's eye? Could it be Moody's? Could it be another family member? Where's Aberforth? I don't know.
Aberforth is hanging out with goats right now.
Yep.
That's actually a
goat
goat's
yoga.
eye.
A goat's eye.
What do you guys think about Harry using an unforgivable curse?
Oof. Wait, who did he use it on?
Yeah, what was it again?
He used it on Travers.
Travers. Oh yeah, I forgot.
When he went to go hide in the corner.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Well, you know what? I understand why it's unforgivable, but Imperius seems like the most forgivable of the unforgivables.
I completely disagree with you.
You do.
I think it is the least forgivable out of all three.
Whoa.
Because the other one, okay, so I mean, maybe this is extreme. I think it just depends. You see different things in the books. I mean, the Killing Curse is terrible. And then with the Cruciatus Curse, we see what that does to Neville's parents, which is tragic.
Yeah.
But the idea of the Imperius Curse in someone who is evil is, to me, the most unsettling thing. Like I don't have a crazy high pain tolerance, but I'll like endure the Cruciatus Curse for a little bit. If I'm like, my mind's addled, that's okay. I'm still like living, but it is tragic. But the Imperius Curse in like someone who is doing good, it's like not the worst. It's still a little iffy. Like I like that they go and hide. They tell Travers to hide rather than just do something else terrible.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
But that could be used for some seriously dark things. The Imperius Curse.
Yep.
To the point where it's like, it's a little terrifying, I think. But I think it is. It's not in the books. It kind of is portrayed as the least bad out of all the three curses.
Yeah, that's why it didn't bother me that Harry did it.
Yeah,
because for the greater good.
Exactly, he was doing it for the greater good. Yeah.
So maybe that's why it felt like the least bad of them. But did it offend you, Jen? Was it like weird when he did it?
No, I'm actually surprised that it worked.
Because it's different. That's what's different than the others. He really meant, I want to control their minds right now. I want to.
Well, I guess when you're under pressure, it would be more.
But would he still be able to do Avada Kedavra? I kind of don't think so.
On Voldemort, I think yes. On
Voldemort, maybe.
Because I think he would be able to think of all the people he's killed and destroyed their lives or hurt or whatever.
But I want him to love Voldemort to death. I'm like, oh, it's still something about it still feels wrong. Like, you can want to murder him, but I'm just like, oh, yikes. it feels like you're beating him at his own game, but he got you to play the game. Where I'm like, there's got to be some other way.
Send love potions his way or something.
Yeah,
like that.
You know,
have him tied up,
kill him with kindness. No, I can't see how that would actually
maybe he would die
really
that way.
work. But just the idea of like, I don't want Harry to ever do Avada Kedavra, even if it's Bellatrix or someone else. It would make him a complex character, and I can't say no. Like if he does by the end of this book and means it. I mean,
but
it's a human moment and it makes sense.
Evil. How can you do anything? Like, what else could you do to protect everyone in the future?
That's a great question. Let's talk for a quick second about what you guys think is going to happen in the end game of this. So let's say Harry and Voldemort actually have like a showdown. Is Harry going to use Avada Kedavra on him to finish him off? Like, how is this going to work? Is he going to refuse to do it, and that's going to be Harry's downfall? Because you guys don't know anything of what's going to happen at the end of the book.
I know.
So I'm curious, what is going on in your mind for how you think this is going to happen? Is there going to be a showdown at all?
Oh, there's going to be a showdown.
There has to be.
Yeah, and I think by the final showdown, in theory, all the Horcruxes will be dead or there at the final showdown, right? And what about the Deathly Hallows? Will they also be there or be accounted for in some way or won or whatever?
I don't know.
And that's what makes me wonder if the
then
the
there's
Stone of
also the
Resurrection
prophecy thing. So does that play into it too?
Mm.
Neither
and like
can live.
the only thing I never would understand is how can Harry like what's the word I want? Verse, battle, whatever. Voldemort, because his scar ends up hurting him so much whenever Voldemort's power like is present and is feeling an emotion. His head hurts so bad that he can't even like focus. So I'm like, how is he gonna defeat Voldemort in his presence? Because every time he's been like just surviving and getting past.
But I think that's where the scar is a reflection of that connection between them. So that's where the love wins thing could come in, because if there's something like if Harry, for example, sacrificed himself to save someone else, or if someone else sacrifices themselves again to save Harry, that'd be good. Like again, somebody sacrifices themselves to save Harry, gives Harry more protection, and that love, something there would like that connection between Voldemort and Harry needs to break. So I'm like, well, what could break it? Just a next level love. I don't think it's like Ginny. No offense to Ginny. She's a hot tamale. I hope they fall in love. But I don't think it's that. I don't think it's like Harry's like, I love her, I'm going to get married, and therefore Voldemort's going to run. It's got to be something else. So like all of the people that he loves, somebody else might die. Like there's got to be something else that pushes the side of good in that battle, or like Harry being shielded or whatever, this golden thing that was coming out of his wand. More of that like ancient
maybe
magic.
It's not like a wand thing, but maybe it's just what Harry can do with a wand that he doesn't even know he's capable of. Because
could he do wandless magic?
Oh, I don't know.
Or you're saying
I'm just saying that like because of the
uses.
love and the connection to Harry, like a lot of people were dying at Voldemort's hand, and some of them were protecting Harry, and some of them loved him and protected him. Could it be like this ancient magic that's on Harry that can come out of any wand, but he doesn't know how? Like he can't tell you how he's doing it, but his like that ancient magic spell is just coming out of him when he's holding a wand in a certain situation.
Yeah, and I think that could be true. But if it were, then I'm still trying to understand how. So we're waiting for a couple big reveals. And so some of these reveals that we're kind of waiting on is like, I'm waiting for something more with family, with a connection between Harry and Voldemort, or Dumbledore and Godric's Hollow. And and even throw Snape in the mix. Could he be related to someone? Is there a deeper, again, we love this ancient magic stuff. So something with Grindelwald, with Ariana, with Kendra, like something else that's this ancient magic, this like thing we didn't know that explains why Harry and Voldemort just can't defeat each other, why they've been like just opposed but balancing forces. And I can't figure out what that is. But then in the end, is this all Dumbledore's plan? Like he was able to see what was going to happen, prophecies we don't know about, and then set up something perfectly so it would. I'm kind of feeling like in the end, if this was something Dumbledore accounted for, was the plan set up with Grindelwald, with the Elder Wand? Will Voldemort be defeating himself somehow by he fell into some trap that he doesn't even realize, whether it's with the wand? Like if Dumbledore expects that this wand is going to end up in Voldemort's hand, did he already sabotage his wand? If it even is the Elder Wand. Because why not make sure it gets to Harry before his death? Maybe he still needed it. He wanted to use it.
Yeah.
But it something about it feels weird. And so if you know, we're kind of assuming Dumbledore had all of the Hallows. If he knows how powerful they are and how bad it would be for them to fall into the wrong hands, what steps has he taken to prevent that? If this invisibility cloak is the invisibility cloak, like why is Harry still using it to like do like relatively silly little things,
also,
you know? What?
It would be interesting if Voldemort has the Elder Wand, let's say.
Yeah.
No one, I don't think, has had the Elder Wand and used it with Horcruxes, right? So,
yeah.
It would be interesting because it's supposed to defeat death. You're cheating death. But he already tried to cheat death. So does it backfire when you use it?
It's like a double negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait. So it's supposed to...
So like he has his spirit or whatever broken into different parts. So he's not like a full soul. I don't know if that's even right.
I wonder if Harry could defend himself with the Horcruxes. And that's how you could defeat Horcruxes, with the Elder Wand. Like, it almost becomes like a shield of some kind, or like the invisibility cloak covers all the Horcruxes. They're right in front of Harry, and then he's trying to kill Harry, but hits all the Horcruxes instead. You know, like, is there something like... Because then again, it's like him defeating himself. It's not Harry saying Avada Kedavra. It just feels like a little lame, like almost like... Not lame. It's good, and if that's how it goes down, I'm okay with that in a certain sense.
It would be interesting. You know how he has like the pouch from Hagrid, and he has everything in the pouch.
Yeah.
Maybe he hits the pouch.
right, like in the
Voldemort
heart. It, like,
hits the pouch, and it's all the stuff. That's maybe that's good.
But I still can't quite figure it out. Like, for example, at the end of the book, what is left standing? Are the Hallows still around? Are any Horcruxes still around?
I hope not.
If you defeat Voldemort and you still have some Horcruxes, does the book end where they're like, "Oh, let's go find the basilisk and like kill all the rest of these Horcruxes before he comes back"?
I mean, this is the last book, so I hope it ties everything
I'm sure it would tie it up
no...
loosely, but like, does it end in the moment in the final battle, or is there like a couple of cleanup chapters where you still got to get rid of Horcruxes, or do they then take the Hallows that are left over and like bury them, or put them in a vault of Gringotts, or destroy them all? Like, I'm picturing the Mount Doom moment. You know, do you then have to take by choice all of the Horcruxes, all of the Hallows, and say all of this is too powerful? We're gonna drop it in Mount Doom so they're gone forever. Like, or does that all go down in the battle? You know, somehow. Has the Resurrection Stone been used? Will it be used? Is it on the ring? Was it the Sorcerer's Stone? Does Nicholas Flamel come back? All of these like weird things where I'm just like, there are a lot of loose ends. How could they all be tied up? There's not that much left of the book.
There's not a lot of time
how could
we'll
it be?
See.
I have a feeling there are more loose ends to me than the average person, but I'm like, there are so many things I want to explain. And maybe she's already explained some of them I didn't realize. Like one like Karkaroff, where I'm like, that's a loose end. It's like, no, he's just dead, Danny. Get over it.
You just
I'm
never
like, no.
trusted it, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. And then who's in charge?
Now or
no, like at the end. I'm just like, I'm thinking
Kingsley.
He's actually, yeah, he'd be a great minister of magic at the end of all this. But who would be McGonagall becomes headmaster?
Everything has to the dust has to settle because it's like a whole war scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I still don't understand. They would totally outnumber Death Eaters if every creature came together against them.
Yeah, they absolutely would.
I will say this too. Your questions might not be answered to the way that you want them to be answered, but they will be answered.
Nice.
Every question that you guys have will be answered. And every chapter that we are going to from this point, you will have questions that get answered. So that's why at the end of this book, people, it's satisfying, not for a way that it's like everything happens according to how you want it to happen, but it's satisfying because all the loose ends. Maybe not the Karkaroff thing. You might still think Karkaroff is wandering out there at the end.
But you know what? That's hope. That's book 8.
How many years has it been since they've been written?
It's been a lot of years, right? 10 years since the last book was written. You can look to the beginning of this book and see the copyright.
I want to say 2007 or 8. 2007, I think, was when it was. So it's almost
2007.
16,
okay.
17.
Wow. First edition USA, July 2007.
Nice.
Yeah, we are in the answers portion. There's not a lot of page time that we have left.
I know.
Which is crazy.
Things could get wrapped up pretty quickly in some ways because I think certain answers would resolve a lot of questions. And she maybe has creative ways that we haven't even thought of to wrap things up where we say, oh, no wonder we didn't think of that. But I just don't know what it would be yet, obviously. So but that's what makes it so exciting. And it's just strange feeling like in some ways Harry's the main character, but it feels like he's not in control. And especially those moments with Dobby and with the mirror and Dumbledore's eye were like, oh, there are a lot of forces beyond Harry that are kind of guiding him, possibly assisting him. Like we were saying, this chapter just went so terribly and smoothly at the same time.
It's like they didn't plan for everything, but it's like the perfect scenario for not planning and everything going poorly. It's a perfect thing to happen.
And then to get away that clean and just amazing.
Yeah. It is funny because I feel like Travers is going to be in this little crack in the
forever. They're going to find him at the end of the book in a couple years. It's crazy.
That would have been a great end credit scene. After all the
credits,
that's
exactly what I was picturing.
Huddling in a crack in the wall.
Scene, just
oh yeah, I'm also so curious. We haven't watched the movies for these last 2
I know.
books.
Yeah, we're gonna have a 3 movie watch at the end of this.
Excited.
That's gonna be so fun.
I know.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how they do some of this.
We got a big TV too.
I know.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we gotta do that right.
What do you guys think of all the stuff that's happening at Gringotts? All the enchantments, though. Some pretty cool stuff. They have the little waterfall, the what's it called? The Gemino and the Flagrante curse. I feel
like I've been there because of the ride.
Yeah. Which one's the Gelamino or Flamante?
Those are the ones where you
doubles
touch
up
things and they multiply.
Oh, and it gets hot.
Yeah.
I think that is really cool. I'm almost surprised they haven't encountered that before. They're probably powerful advanced curses, but I would think at school you'd create a little thing so nobody goes in your locker. At Hogwarts they might have smaller versions of some of these, but
I thought it was clever. No,
we
didn't. But the room requirement when it was cluttered, did it not do that? I thought there was something where it might have multiplied.
Something was duplicating. Yeah, maybe. I don't remember.
In the school, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think you're right. I forgot what exactly it was.
Clever.
There was something that happened in the room of requirement that
it was hard to find something. And I thought when he touched it, it did double. I don't know. When the tiara thing, when it was all full of stuff, I thought
the tiara thing.
I think a bunch of pixies came out of something.
So maybe
he opened something and a bunch of pixies flew out or something.
Anyway, I thought we saw it once, but maybe I'm wrong.
Could that tiara be the same tiara that the Weasleys are using?
I know you're obsessed with that theory.
What if Auntie Muriel has also has a cupboard thingy that somehow she can get into the room of requirement? You can get into it from other places.
She has another vanishing cabinet.
The vanishing cabinet. There it is.
It really belongs to Muriel.
The vanishing
Muriel
cabinet
was the one that
went to that room, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. And what was I'm like forgetting all the details. There was the vanishing cabinet at Borgin and Burke's.
Yeah.
The bad place, yeah.
And at Hogwarts. And they both were connected through the room of requirement?
It was broken, so he fixed it, and then
Yeah.
they were able to get through.
It was just a pair. One was at Borgin and Burke's, the other one was in the room of requirement. And he had to fix the one in the room of requirement. And then they were able to use it. Which is a great way to travel.
I can't believe he thought of that.
I know. Seriously.
Oh, that's because someone got thrown into halfway or something.
Yeah.
It was all Fred and George's fault. I think they threw someone in.
Which is pretty intense. Really intense, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of all the things from previous books that could come together in a way, like towards the end. But
so they do have the little goblet now, the cup. You think this is an actual Horcrux, right?
Yeah, I do.
Hope so.
Yep. Either
I think the way I think the way Voldemort reacted, yes.
Yeah.
Because then it all clicked and he's like tracing his Horcruxes.
That was the biggest confirmation, which again you have to take with a grain of salt because it could be a giant trap. But it feels like Harry being able to peek into Voldemort's mind and see him like thinking of all the Horcruxes, that's the best thing that could happen.
It's so crazy that Harry wanted to go to Hogwarts too. Like his instincts was like something's there.
Trust your instincts.
But like, what the heck is that going to be?
Well, yeah, because that's weird because that's what Voldemort wanted from the beginning, to work there, to do something.
And then I feel like because he couldn't get it there, he like took something and made it a Horcrux. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But Snape's been there this whole time, but he might not have told Snape, but maybe it worked.
Maybe I know, that's what also is weird is Snape's his like right hand and did so much for him and he doesn't know about the Horcruxes. Like that's weird.
And Bellatrix either. She just knows it's important to him to keep this safe. It seems that he hasn't told anybody. But that's also a red flag for Kreacher because Kreacher does kind of know. And then according to all this, I think Voldemort would know that Kreacher is now Harry's and Harry could ask him questions. And especially Kreacher is in danger. That's what I'm trying to say.
So why don't they call him over?
Well, I don't know, because if Voldemort already got to him, there could be like more going on. I'm not so sure it'd be safe to call him, but maybe do it in a controlled environment, figure out
why. What could happen?
I don't know. I'm just nervous that Voldemort is a few steps ahead of them in some of this. So I feel like they have to be a little careful. But, yeah, I just don't know.
Okay, so let's go into the next 27, which this one...
Wait, but real quick.
Yeah.
I got to read through my margins. But Ollivander sent Luna a new wand that morning.
Yeah.
So did the wand choose her? Like, because we kind of found that the wand chooses the wizard.
That is a fascinating question.
But we now are seeing that Wormtail's wand was made for him, but then it kind of doesn't have an allegiance yet. And then somebody kind of wins it, and that's kind of good. Yeah. But then Ollivander is actually mailing a wand to somebody. And that feels like we can open up wandazon.com because it's like, well, I'm just like, he sent her the new wand. And I'm like, well, how did they do that remotely where it could choose her? Maybe she went there, operated over, did a few tests, and like experimented with the wand or with the core or something before he polished it, gave it the final coat before sending it out. So maybe it was mostly done, and then she went home, and then he sent the finished product in the box with the bow on top. So it's possible that she still did the tests that Harry did, but on a rougher wand. It's also possible that Ollivander had so much time with her after being in prison that he was able to really understand her at a core level. And you like to have fun.
Core level.
And then go back and make a wand that would choose her. based on personality type. Because that was your theory, right? Like with personalities and wands, even back in the Triwizard Tournament, when Ollivander was making the wands do different things, it felt like the things they were doing kind of matched the personalities.
Yeah.
So if he got to know Luna really well, which would be rare, but he did get to, he could make her a wand that actually would choose her. Anyways, just a weird thing.
That's a fascinating one. Yeah. Like a personalized wand. Maybe that's really like the best way to do a wand. You really get to know the person and then you make a wand for them and it's like it fits them even better. So maybe Luna's wand is going to be the one that defeats Voldemort.
Whoa.
Maybe.
Also, if I were in the wizarding world, I'd want that spell waterfall thingy in my shower. If I ever got Imperious, it would never last more than my next shower. I'd be clean on every level, and it would just be a nice thing, just like a little
question about the Imperious curse. So, are you showering when you're under the Imperious curse?
Oh my goodness! I'd start getting. I'd have hair like Snape, you know.
You're just gross.
It would just be. Then that proves my point.
What?
Snape's Imperious.
He's Imperious to never shower.
They mention his hair a lot, so maybe.
But it just feels like that water is powerful.
Has just forgotten to.
Unless that's his magic power is like slick, oily hair that you can't read his mind or something. Imagine.
It's like a tinfoil hat.
It's like
my goodness. That is funny. It like protects him. The grease.
So good.
Magic grease.
The grease just has a barrier.
What did Bellatrix do to these children? Where are they?
What children?
In Diagon Alley, someone was coming up to her saying, "What have you done with my children?" I'm like, "Yeah, what did she do?"
Yeah.
Were they like, I don't know, Muggle born, or was there something else weird about them? But I'm like, I feel like we don't really know much about children. But it felt like it was Bellatrix specifically. So I'm like, what is Bellatrix? Or maybe it was all Death Eaters. I don't know. Bronze doors, are they better than oak doors? I don't know.
You're getting into door lore now. We brought up the knockers on the doors where you think that's like Horcrux. We're like, hold on, bronze doors are now better than oak doors.
Oh wait, I still think that could be a Horcrux. The door
knocker. Harry did 2 Imperios. He should have thrown a Confundo in there at the end just to be safe.
What's Confundo?
To make people not remember.
Yeah.
Because now, what's that guy's name? The other Death Eater who's hiding in a crevice?
Travers.
I feel like he'd be able to put a few too many pieces together. But then again, after all that went down, maybe it doesn't even matter. All right, cool. Sorry, I'm just looking at all these little things. Don't touch stuff. A diadem.
Okay.
A skull wearing a crown. Jeweled flask. What?
Wait, we're in that chapter.
What,
we're gonna go. Yeah, no, it's in 26.
Yeah. So in 26, there's a cave-like opening crammed from floor to ceiling with golden coins and goblets, silver armor.
The other stuff in
and then it says
vault.
Something with drooping wings, potions in a jeweled flask, and a skull wearing a crown.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So I'm like, skull wearing a crown. Well, whose skull? What crown? Ravenna Ravenclaw's skull?
Can we get to the next chapter?
Yeah, we can. How about you start giving the summary, and I'll keep reading my margins.
I don't remember this.
This one was a really short one. It's 15 minutes, and all that happens is they jump off, they swim to the shore, and Harry has a vision of Voldemort furious but terrified that he's like, no one could have known my secrets, and he starts having a flashback on all the places that he hid them.
Yeah.
He says shack, cave, and then he says Hogwarts. So we're going to talk about that. I don't have a ton of questions in this chapter except about that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, Danny will fill it in.
The only other thing that I had here is Libera Corpus. That's the opposite of Levi Corpus, I guess. Just bringing things down.
I'm sure.
Trying to learn more spells here, so we're ready at Universal with our spells.
Wait, can you?
What?
I'm just picturing you at Universal with a cloak and a wand.
You're like, am I ready to be standing next to this guy?
Welcome to his new identity.
Oh, goodness.
Yikes.
All right. Sorry, I'm ready now.
1 second.
We'll have to have our first time reader cloaks for school. You know, like instead of Hogwarts emblem,
first time reader.
It'll be our logo.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that a lot.
Into that.
It's a great idea.
Yep, I'm full of them.
Okay.
That wasn't supposed to be a cheer.
You held it close enough. I couldn't resist.
That's funny.
Okay, the final hiding place. It starts off, they jump off, and then Ron says, well, on the upside, said Ron, finally, who was sitting, watching the skin on his hands regrow. We got the Horcrux. On the downside, a sword, said Harry through gritted teeth as he jerked Dittany on a single hole in his jeans onto the angry burn beneath. How are they going to destroy this Horcrux? We just kind of talked about that a little bit, so we can make this one brief, but...
Unless there's something else in Hogwarts they don't know about that can help.
I feel like goblin-made weapons. That's a good place to start. So the Sword of Gryffindor...
Yeah, but it had power in it, though. It's not...
It was... Okay, you're right, because it was specifically designed to...
Tiara. Maybe that thing.
Wait, what about the veil part? I keep thinking about the veil at the Ministry of Magic. What if you just threw them behind the veil?
Whoa, that's a really interesting idea. We don't understand how the veil works exactly. It seems like
and there were like voices
Sirius
back
died
there.
first, then
know.
went
it's
through.
Just like it keeps coming up. So I just
no, that's a good idea. That's better than anything I've thought of yet because it's magical. It is final. We know that.
Do we know it's final? That's the only thing. It's like.
Or would you be throwing Voldemort into a pen of people trapped on the other side of the veil?
I don't know.
They're like, "What are you doing?"
They're like, no!
He's running wild in another multiverse over there. So we have to be careful with that one. But wait, what else is in there?
There's so much in the Ministry of Magic. Room.
What are those brain things that latched onto Ron?
Yeah.
Could they? Was it memories or something they were doing? Because that wouldn't kill a Horcrux.
No, it made him like drunk or I don't know. It was like loopy.
I'm trying to think if there are other weird things there, or no, the time turner thing with the hummingbird.
Unless there's something in the snitch that
like
could kill.
What? Oh, that could kill it. So, interesting.
Maybe it's like
would it be
dagger.
something we've never seen before?
What if it's a dagger that has power?
A very small dagger, but you never know.
That would be another.
Yeah, but it's like the tent.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they can pull anything out of that. That whole
no,
thing,
you're right. It could be
universe.
What if Dumbledore? What if Dumbledore's in the snitch?
He's hiding in the snitch. It's Dumbledore
the whole time. I open it to close. What does that mean for Dumbledore being in there?
Wow. Yeah, that is interesting. You're right. It could be bigger than just the snitch itself because we've seen that a few times with the bags and all. The tent. I think if whatever pops out of it, though, I hope we've seen it before. Like, I hope it's not a... at this stage in the book, I hope that the resolution things are all things we've already seen. They can be mysterious. They can catch us off guard because we didn't expect things. But introducing a new magical object that does something new this close to the end, like a Horcrux killing magical thing, it would feel a little bit cheap. So I'm trying to think of ways using what we already know about the wizarding world that a Horcrux could be killed. And that's why the Basilisk Fang seems decent.
Spider venom.
Acromantula venom feels pretty good. And I feel like along those lines, where do the goblins make their goblin things? Is there a goblin forge? Is there again, just like heat and magic and like something intense along those lines?
Like, what about McGonagall? Wouldn't she know something that would kill the Horcruxes too?
Maybe. But what we do know is, at least I think I remember correctly, Dumbledore took everything referencing Horcruxes out of the library. Mm-hmm. Would he want to prevent even his own teachers, like Snape, from learning about Horcruxes?
That's an interesting question. There is a point to that where he took them out of the library almost specifically. Well, he took them out prior to that because he doesn't want anybody reading about that.
Yeah.
But he put them in a neat stack for Hermione to remember. She just said like Accio books and they came out of the window.
Right.
So it could have been he took them out of the library specifically so Hermione has
to give her the resources she needs.
Resources.
But I just, when you said that, my first thought was no other teachers even know about Horcruxes. That Slughorn might be the only one.
Yeah.
But he feels like a decent person to go ask. And come to think of it, he's the one who took Acromantula venom from...
I know, that's what I was thinking. They'd have to go to him.
What's his face? What was the name of that spider?
The spider was...
Trying to warm up for...
Yeah.
Something.
You got it.
You can do this. I can't do it.
Aragog.
Yeah, Jen, that was great.
Right?
Wow, we are ready for trivia.
That's because I always say that.
That was
the
impressive.
guy from Lord of the Rings.
Yep. But that's interesting because Slughorn. Is there any chance? Yeah, Aragog, King of Gondor, Shelob, teacher at Hogwarts.
I know you lost me.
Yeah, but it's I'm just thinking, could Dumbledore have talked any more to Horace, even though it seemed like he needed Harry to talk to him? That still seems a little funny. But and could Horace have been thinking ahead and trying to say, you know what? If we've got potentially some little things around here,
what
let's
about
get
the
some
horn thing from the Love Goods?
Something horned snorkax?
Yeah.
The hat.
I have no idea, but that came up, and then
horned.
And then Luna was like, "It grows back." So what if
that is a good magical object that might create an explosion that would do? Yeah, you're right. Oh, that would be a really fitting moment. If Xenophilius or Luna gets to come in with a Snorkax thing.
Yep.
It's like a bomb. You just throw that thing
just
in there.
Throw
it. Destroys half of them.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That would be that'd be a pretty funny way. But that's the kind of like magical stuff I'm kind of looking for. What happens if something is pierced with a unicorn
all stuff
horn?
like that. You're saying as if I haven't listed.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like these are things that I think could work. We just don't know. Yeah. So I'm like, we've got a good list now. I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like some of this stuff could work. But
so even with the whole discussion on what could kill one, do you think Voldemort is really that dumb, or are we just kind of that like we know about Horcruxes? How many people in the wizarding world actually know about Horcruxes? Because Voldemort, he makes one, and then in this scene, he's like, he was crazed, frenzied. It could not be true. It was impossible. Nobody had ever known. How is it possible that the boy could have discovered his secret? So like Voldemort is to the next degree because he has secrets, but the idea of Horcruxes doesn't seem like a ton of people know about Horcruxes, especially knowing about how to make a Horcrux.
It's weird that he figured out what they were.
Yeah.
Because he asked Slughorn about it, but he already knew about it.
Yep.
That's weird.
Who told Slughorn about it? Who's the Horcrux master? Like, where is this knowledge coming from? Who taught Slughorn? Who kind of maybe taught Dumbledore? Who taught
Who else did
Voldemort?
This, though? Because someone else probably did it, and they wrote about it. How would you know about it?
True. And is that something we've already seen or heard of?
Because if some of these other people are known, like if I'm Dumbledore, and even with your guys' theories, like let's say like Dumbledore had planned this, then maybe a hole that I can poke in that is why would he just trust Harry with this? If McGonagall knew anything about Horcruxes, that's my next person I'm going to. Being like, McGonagall, you're the next person in line. Like, teach this to Harry so that he can go and figure out Horcruxes and destroy Horcruxes. But maybe it's just like even McGonagall doesn't know about this. Like like no one knows about these things.
Like,
and he's telling Harry, don't tell anyone. Meanwhile, you're thinking, well, if Harry could get Kingsley, Lupin, Moody, McGonagall, like all of these other power hitters also looking for Horcruxes or picking their brains on like some of this stuff that could actually work to fight a Horcrux.
It does seem like you would get like have speed on your side, having more people knowing.
Yeah, but
then having
Dumbledore
more people
doesn't
knowing means that Voldemort would know faster that they know.
And the element of surprise was the plan this whole time, which makes sense. But that's what it feels like Dumbledore knows more than we know yet. And it needed to happen this way.
I still just don't understand how like nobody knows about it, but Voldemort does.
And yeah, we don't understand that. And that, you know what, has to be a missing piece that we figure out. And could it be
maybe it's along the lines of like the Deathly Hallows?
Like another fairy tale type of thing?
No one like
who even told them about the
people
Deathly
don't
Hallows?
really believe it, but it is kind of true.
You know what? He maybe didn't even really know about the Deathly Hallows until he needed to be able to defeat Harry's wand, and then like went down that path.
No, I don't even think he still knows about it.
He still might not really know.
I think he just knows about the Elder Wand.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think he knows that there's a 3-part.
But then the Horcruxes, is it possible that Nicholas Flamel had a darker start where his goal was to live forever, And he eventually found the Philosopher's Stone, which accomplished that goal. Then he realized he didn't need to live forever. And then eventually he was able to become friends with Dumbledore and kind of grow and whatever. And he's the one who discovered Horcruxes back in the day. Because whoever it was...
I feel like it's someone evil, because you have to kill someone.
Yeah, someone evil, but who?
We don't know evil people except Voldemort.
Yeah, kind of true. Salazar Slytherin could be hiding around. Could it be ghosts?
The dark... What's this school with the dark magic?
Durmstrang.
Yeah.
I mean...
But Voldemort had killed people as a kid, right? Or just traumatized.
Traumatized them. We don't know the extent of that. Yeah, in the cave where his one Horcrux was.
Ew,
could he have
seems like
accidentally
a pedophile
created
or
one?
something?
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
Lures
definitely.
children into a cave. Ugh.
I'm also wondering if could Grindelwald have told him?
Unless he figured out a way, he liked keepsakes or prizes. You know how he kept something.
Yeah, he
everyone.
was into that even as a kid before he knew what a Horcrux was.
Well, maybe if you're
supposedly.
searching that, prizes or whatever, you can, I don't know, Horcrux would come up and then he would search that.
Voldemort's not necessarily, I guess he's kind of convinced that the secret is a little bit Horcruxy, but he thinks his secret is in the amount of Horcruxes that he has and in where they're hidden.
Right.
So it's not necessarily the Horcrux knowledge, but it's just the sheer amount that he has.
Yep.
So he's thinking of the places where he hid them, and he's like, "There's no way they know about this," because he thinks that his life is so
secretive.
Yeah, secretive. He thinks
he doesn't even have any friends.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Too bad.
And that's the only. So that's why I think that's the detective work of Dumbledore that is so impressive, and pulling out of these memories from so long ago and figuring out where these things began. You know, the memories from a classroom when he was a teenager. Voldemort is thinking this is locked away. This is legit. But Dumbledore was able to put those pieces together.
Yeah.
So I guess that is it, and that's the vulnerability. And there's a certain pride in that too, thinking a secret is safe.
Yeah, for sure. So that's definitely, he definitely has pride to him. But do you think that he's actually, this is a fascinating one that he brings up, because he says, but surely if the boy had destroyed any of his Horcruxes, he, Lord Voldemort, would have known, would have felt it. So is there a reason why he hasn't felt them? Or in a more depressing way, have they really destroyed any Horcrux? It seems like...
No, I think he wouldn't know what it feels like, though.
Why?
Because no one's explained that. That you would feel the Horcrux being destroyed.
Yeah.
And why would that even be written about? Would that even... Does anyone have any evidence to prove that you would feel it being destroyed? So to me, I'm thinking it's this element of surprise. And it's you want to create a bunch of souls of you, then you're not going to know when they're disappearing.
Yeah.
Right.
And even the action of it, him destroying, it's ripping his soul apart. That's how Slughorn, murder rips the soul apart. So he's almost so numb to it that he can't really feel the thing being destroyed.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But if he was to love on him, he would feel that.
Yeah. So Harry's going to kill him with some love.
That's what Danny's prediction is.
I'm also curious if these Horcruxes are real Horcruxes, because those would be the options, right? Either you just don't feel it when a Horcrux is killed, or the Horcruxes aren't killed, and that's why he never felt it, or he never created a Horcrux to begin with. Because in order to create a Horcrux, it needs to, I thought of it like breaking your heart. You know, you need to do something that is you're committing murder, and that does something so twisted to a soul that it rips it to pieces. But if Voldemort kills so many people and was doing all this torturous stuff, maybe it didn't hurt him enough to even break his soul into a piece. So then I guess I'm kind of thinking then, is it possible they weren't Horcruxes? I kind of think they are. It would make sense. It would feel weird if they weren't, but at least
they have some kind of
they have some kind of power. There's darkness happening.
Yeah, but we watched Ron's whole situation with the
yes.
locket, and it looked like it was actually evil.
Yeah.
So maybe his
And
soul was just so
destroyed.
broken he could create Horcruxes.
So,
it's just
yeah.
in pieces already.
I think there's two choices that we have for this one. Is that Regulus Black is truly a dark wizard and then took the locket and put an even darker locket in like lieu of something else, like did something terrible. Or this chapter kind of confirms that these are really Horcruxes. So I feel like we can even either put that to bed or think there's something else really, really afoul that Joe is going to throw in last minute in these books, and it's going to like completely catch you by surprise. Because
I like the Horcrux read though, the straight read of like,
because Voldemort is going. These are the hiding places that it was at, which is Dumbledore went to the shack, they went to the cave, and then something's at Hogwarts now. So like they seem to have found the actual Horcruxes.
Yeah, you're right.
I think,
They've definitely found whatever he thinks is the Horcruxes. And we think that 2 of them at least are destroyed. 3 of them. 3 of them are destroyed. Diary, ring, locket. So that's a pretty good start.
Yeah. They have the cup, Nagini, and then something at Hogwarts.
Cup, Nagini, and now we're kind of thinking brass knocker or or tiara. Or
what is at Hogwarts and where is it?
I mean,
Hogwarts
honestly, top of my list
huge.
is room of requirement. Tiara is the crown of Ravenna Ravenclaw, but it also could be anything else.
Brass knocker,
or something we don't know about, or something buried
in the
beneath
bathroom. Remember,
Hogwarts.
like what was it? Open the chambers of secrets.
Yeah, could be somewhere.
Something like in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that would be a nice fitting like callback to things we've already seen in previous books, like.
I just feel like it's something in Dumbledore's, like
In his office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
there is this line which he talks about hiding in a place where he feels like he's the only one that knows. As for the school, he alone knew where in Hogwarts he had stowed the Horcrux because he alone had plumbed the deepest secrets of that place. And there was still a Nagini who must remain close now, no longer doing his bidding under his protection.
Somewhere that no one knows.
Unless,
no, you're right.
Which is a great point, where maybe there's something like deeper about this knocker or something like that only he knows about.
Right. And that's the part of the weird thing. Like things could be a port key. You know, the knocker could be a port key that takes you below the school or something else to somewhere else. But the room of requirement no longer really makes sense because something nobody else knows about. Like it seems like the room of requirement is being used for a lot of things, or the vanishing cabinet thing.
It kind of reminds me, remember when he blamed everything
on
Hagrid for like the killing of the girl with the spider?
Like, when he opened the chamber.
Yeah, like something like
is there more in the chamber? I'm trying to think of what else was happening in the chamber. That was a Slytherin chamber, right? Because it had the Slytherin mark on the door. I think
there was the snakes on the faucet, and then they had to open the door because the door was like the little snake thing, and they had to open it with.
There's so many places of that.
And when they were doing that was when they had Lockhart with them or something. And then I'm just forgetting what happened after that because then Ron stayed with Lockhart, Harry moved on, and then I'm like, well, did we hear of anything else in the chamber? Because that would be a pretty fitting thing. That is like the depths of Hogwarts. But I just can't think of anything else that was there. But again, it could be just another layer to the same thing. I mean, even when they were solving riddles, trying to find.
I guess that line like excludes anything, but like even something in plain sight.
Yeah.
How would you know it's a Horcrux?
Yeah, exactly.
It could be a portrait.
Okay, yeah. This is the discussion in the chat right now is all about how Voldemort is stupid to make these sacred objects like Horcruxes. If he just made like seven stones and then throw the stones into the ocean,
wow,
this would be an unending book.
Yep. No, you're right.
Oh my gosh.
It's making them normal objects. So again, his pride was his downfall.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he wanted them to be like objects of renown.
Yeah.
And we kind of think there is something to that because something early on, whether it was just a story or something Hermione read in the books, the attention an object gets gives it something.
Yeah.
Maybe for the same taboo of saying his name, but he liked that the Horcrux objects actually got attention and had renown. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else at Hogwarts. are there evil things at Hogwarts that have made students do questionable things? Because all the rest of these Horcruxes are causing a little bit of chaos around them. So, like, what at Hogwarts could potentially be causing a little bit of
like a dark aura? Peeves.
Yeah, like Peeves. And you know what else is? Oof. Well, you know what? That's more credence to your theory about the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom, because it has a curse. So that could be a Horcrux thing. But is there anything in that classroom we know about?
But what about Peeves' room? Remember when he had the party?
The Death Day party downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Nearly Headless Nick. Maybe it could be something ghostly down there. I don't know. I don't remember any like objects specifically, but yeah, something in a ghost realm could certainly be. Well, maybe. I don't know. But if it was something in the Defense Against the Dark Arts, that would make a lot of sense. Or because Voldemort wanted to be a teacher. So something in the teacher's lounge. Could it be something teacher specific? Something in the library, something in
the Sorting Hat.
Oh yeah.
Nah, I don't think so.
Oh, in the Sorting Hat. Could it be the Sorting Hat? No, it's got sentience. But so does Nagini.
That one is weird though. How could it be a snake that's like alive, have part of him in it?
And does that mean the snake can't die?
No, it can. That's why you're keeping it close to him.
But but I'm just meaning like the snake is just a normal living reptile.
But it seems huge.
It does seem huge.
In my mind, it's like
anaconda.
No, but it's like big. Like I'm thinking not just long, like thick, like diameter.
How big a diameter you got?
I'm thinking of like, that Star Wars like
what the
slug thing.
Wait. The thing the Millennium Falcon flies out of on that comet? Or Jabba the Hutt?
Yeah, that.
Jabba the Hutt.
All right, nice. Okay, that's more reasonable. Wait, Nagini is really fat like that?
Yeah, that's how I pictured it.
Oh, I wish I could do a good Jabba voice right now. Yeah. But we know that it slithered, or we kind of think it slithered to attack Mr. Weasley that time.
I know, but it still could be fat.
It can still be super fat. Yeah.
It's like Jabba. A long time. You can't get over there.
Nagini the Hutt.
We gotta make shirts of that now.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. I'm just confused because at a certain point, snakes die of natural causes, right? But
not
can
they have magic
Nagini die? Because then, if it's a Horcrux, and Voldemort, why would Voldemort make a Horcrux out of something that can die of natural causes? And if it does die, does his Horcrux just become the bones of a snake or the skin of a snake?
Oh my gosh, why do you think all the way through?
But we know bones have power. Bones is the bone of the father, you know what I mean? So then when Nagini dies, does the Horcrux just die, or does the Horcrux become the bones? And that's what's weird about a Horcrux being a living thing, because then it almost feels like if a Horcrux makes it so you can't die, then Voldemort should be a Horcrux, not be making Horcruxes. Why doesn't he let all of his followers make him their Horcrux? Because then he can never die until every one of his followers has died. That's ultimate power. That's why you'd want followers. You know what I mean?
There's this Trevor Noah clip that was going viral a little while ago, but he's like, in a really real sense, your friends are your Horcruxes. He's like, when they die, then your final memory, it goes away, and then you're forgotten.
Oh my
but he's
goodness.
As long as they remember you, then they're keeping you tethered to this earth. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Wow, that is kind of cute. Yeah, it's true.
So you should be known whether good or bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I can't figure out
that is
what
an interesting thing,
because this is a mystery Horcrux. This last one is actually what's going on at Hogwarts? What is the thing?
Well, I mean, our guesses are pretty good.
But things can be transfigured or transformed. I don't know. They can be disguised. So could a Horcrux be disguised too? Could this be something simple but it's more complex?
Or could it be in the what are they called? Not the goblins. The elves, house elves, quarters.
Down in the kitchen somewhere, just
Maybe.
It's been slowly poisoning the food.
Ooh, That's pretty intense.
There is the idea of it being in a living object is really interesting, but Dumbledore, remember he said that that's not advisable because there's unpredictability involved in being in a living object.
Right.
So, but it's a fascinating question of what the heck is happening when it's in a living object. What is Nagini? What does it really look like? What is the composition of that? How do you actually destroy something like that?
But Dumbledore is right, so this is good that it's confirming all of Dumbledore's theories.
Yep.
He said he wasn't
you're
really
right.
sure.
Yeah,
and
true.
now it's finalized, so you feel like, okay, we've been doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I cut you off. Okay.
That's a great. Someone has a question in chat. What if you put a Horcrux in a phoenix? A phoenix will never die.
Oh
It just
my
is
goodness.
reborn. Is it? Would it ebb away when it's reborn? And the same thing with the tears. Is there something there with the tears? It's kind of interesting.
Did he get to Fox?
Mm.
Nah.
Ooh.
Fox wouldn't allow it.
Fox is a Horcrux. So one final question in this chapter, and then we'll do the wrap-ups, unless Danny has anything else.
Nope,
But how much time do they have? Because they're
How much time?
at the end of this chapter,
much.
they're like, we're going. We have to go to Hogsmeade now.
Well, I think Hogwarts is the last place he would check.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? I thought that was the next place he was going. Oh, no. He said that was
He
the
said
most
that
secure.
last. Yeah,
He
said
said
yeah.
last because Snape's there or something, or
Yeah.
like it would be
Yeah, it
obvious.
is a dangerous spot to go.
Yeah,
I mean, it feels like it. Obviously, we're coming to the end of the book. It feels like it's all happening now. So this is action mode.
I wonder if they'll find it in Hogwarts and then Voldemort meets them there.
Mm.
And
That's a
where
fitting
everything
place
goes
for a
down.
final showdown. But then, how would that work? Unless Voldemort brings the rest of his Horcruxes with him once he collects them. But that's as dangerous as anything else.
No, because he's gonna bring Nagini with him, and then they have everything.
Mm.
They already have everything.
Because they're only missing Nagini
and the one at Hogwarts. So it would make sense.
Oh, because they've got the cup and then Nagini, the one at Hogwarts. That's all six.
Yeah. He said he's going to keep Nagini close for now. And
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So that is
could
it.
go down.
But then
in
wait, where
Hogwarts.
is he still? So their head start is just however long it takes him to check the cave and his house.
I feel like, well, I don't know. How
That's not a
quick
big
is
head
that?
start.
I don't know. No, and the cave. Wait, is that what you
Yeah, the
said?
cave and the house. Those are the only two that he's got to go check on right now. And then I guess resolve whatever it was with the cup too. So he'd have to go to Gringotts and figure that all out. But that's already happening.
No,
now.
he's already resolved that. He's
Oh,
already
that's
there.
what let him in on this.
Yeah.
So he knows the cup. So yeah, he'll just retrace those steps and then
He knows
end
that.
up at
Well,
Hogwarts.
how far? Yeah, I don't know.
But he can apparate unless there are spells
Can
there to
you?
protect from apparating. Probably.
Maybe they have a few hours, or maybe they have a day.
Yeah, I would say they don't have a lot of time for sure. And if you get to the first spot and then he's like, "Oh my goodness, the cave or the house, they've got this one," then he might even just say, "Forget the cave. They're on the
But
track
you know
now.
what?
I know
I'm
they are. I'm
surprised
going to
that
Hogwarts."
Voldemort doesn't read Harry's mind. He wants to know.
Can he from here?
Yeah, right.
Or
Why
is-
doesn't he reinvade his mind a little bit?
Yeah, because he wants to know what Harry knows.
How
And he
much-
wants to check all the
How much
places.
Voldemort despises love that he doesn't want it be in Harry's mind anymore because Harry experiences love.
Is that
and
what
he's like,
that is?
he's that.
Oh, that's why in the ministry.
And
Yeah.
is Voldemort afraid?
Mm.
And is it too dangerous to go into Harry's mind when he's afraid? Or could Harry use Voldemort's trick against him and try to plant some things in Voldemort's mind of like traps or torture or whatever? Like, could Harry use his
I
tricks
don't think
against
he
him if
has
he
enough
tries?
time.
He's not good enough for that anyway. But
And that too. Time and talent.
but it does feel like it's setting up for it being a little hectic, you know?
Yeah.
Do you have more?
Yeah.
Gonna tea.
That's true.
Yeah, it's interesting thoughts. Any final notes in this chapter before we touch on the final questions?
No.
Sure.
Wow, it's a shocker.
No.
It was a short chapter.
Oof.
15 minutes, and essentially just confirms these are the Horcruxes, and
Which was nice to have.
it's like the chase is on. Yeah,
He alone had plumbed the deepest secrets of that place. Is that arrogance, though? He alone? Or did he actually? Is he the only
But that's
one
why
who
I'm
knows?
like
Yeah, that's a great
Chamber of
question.
Secrets. The name's in it.
yeah.
Secrets.
He's so arrogant that he names it the Chamber of Secrets because he alone knows it.
But he also thought he was the only one who knew about
Who
the
could
Horcruxes.
open it too?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the only one that could open it?
He's seriously
area.
angry and scared too.
I love that line. That's great.
he could still be there within hours. Yeah, man, it's going down.
I'm yelling.
I love how this chapter ends too.
Yeah, it ends with like an urgency and a plan and action.
But how are we going to get in? We'll go to Hogsmeade, said Harry, and try to work out something once we see what the protection around the school's like. Get under the cloak, Hermione. I want to stick together this time. But we don't really fit. It'll be dark. No one's going to notice our feet. The flapping of enormous wings echoed across the black water. The dragon had drunk its fill and risen into the air. They paused in the preparation to watch it climb higher and higher, now black against the rapidly darkening sky, until it vanished over a nearby mountain. Then Hermione walked forward and took her place between the two. Harry pulled the cloak down as far as it would go, and they together they turned on the spot into crushing darkness. It's a great end. It's
such a great end.
It's on now. It's good. Well, give me your top three. Your hot tamale, favorite character in these two chapters, and favorite moment.
I guess. Oh, mine's like obvious. Like when they actually get the cup and they are able to get out with the dragon. I feel like that was smart, quick thinking, and I liked that planning.
That was a great moment. I love that they're so good on thinking on the fly in these moments.
Yeah, they are pretty good at that. They work together well.
It's because it's like their instinct. Like you don't have time to overthink anything.
Trust your instincts.
Yeah, for real.
And Hermione still keeps them grounded about stuff. So I feel like Ron's the real dreamer. Harry is, no offense, the true Gryffindor. You know, like really just brave and just like goes for it. And then Hermione is just so smart that I feel like, she kind of brings them back down to earth when they need a little assistance.
Well, she also helps them get through things.
Action the plans, because they come up with good ones, but then without her skills to execute, they wouldn't be able to. You know, in a weird way, feels like Ron could be a Hufflepuff, Hermione could be a Ravenclaw, Harry's a Gryffindor.
Yeah.
But maybe Dumbledore had the Sorting Hat put them all together because they needed to be.
There's great questions I will ask later about that one for where they really should have been sorted. There's lots of debate for where they actually should have been sorted, but.
Yeah, because I feel like now that we're learning their personalities, again, back to the thing you said, it'd be cool if teachers sorted them like...
after the first year.
After the first year. Because maybe they all had certain potential. Maybe they all at a core level are, and the Gryffindors, whatever. But then it feels like they kind of... Does it really matter? I don't know if it does. But it feels like we're seeing different sides of them now. So it's interesting. But yeah, I feel like I have to give my favorite character to Harry.
Yeah.
Because he crushed it.
Yeah.
I feel like he had great instincts. He followed his instincts. He's shutting Voldemort out, but then peering in on Voldemort to learn things, come up with a plan. He's got conviction. Thought that was great.
I love that he was learning how to turn it off and on. Seeing.
So yeah.
And being present when he has to. Yeah. I just thought that was a cool maturing.
I do love his conviction and his leadership here. Even though, even when they're coming up with the plan, he's like, he's like, crap, are we really doing the right thing? But on the outside, he's like, this is what we're doing. So Ron and Hermione are just, more than any time else, they're like, okay, we're just following you, whatever you do. Hermione's not coming up with some tone. She's like, okay. Harry's like, let's go to Hogwarts now. Yep. She's like, but we have to plan. He's like, nope, we're going now. And she's like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. Oof. That's
great.
Good.
So I'm giving it to Harry.
Favorite moment I think was same, the getting out of escaping on the back of a dragon, their Aslan moment, the never ending story moment, the flying on the eagle's backs moment, just being out in the open sky with some freedom there was good. And I don't know if there was a hot tamale, but I feel like I'll give it to that parent who approached Bellatrix with sass, saying, "What have you done to my kids?"
Takes boldness.
Approaching Bellatrix without a wand and just going for it. I respect that.
That is kind of great.
Yeah, what would be? Darn it, I don't know. I was going to say something with the dragon.
I'm going to say the dragon.
Whoa.
The hot tamale is definitely the dragon for me.
Respect.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll go with that too. I can't think of anything.
It's a good one.
That poor dragon.
I know, but it's free.
Yeah.
It's free. Oh man.
He's living its hot tamale dream now the rest of his life. He's blind, which is sad, but I feel bad for that thing.
In a way, Griphook could be hot tamale too for being sassy and like going against his own people. But then he turned on them again. So like I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like it stinks that he can defend himself to his goblins by saying it was all part of a ruse to get the sword back. I had a plan. Yeah, I was never betraying you guys because I knew that I could turn them in and they wouldn't escape and whatever. Obviously, they did escape and his plan went south. But
yeah,
it just stinks that he deserves punishment.
I know, for real.
Either from his goblins for betraying them or from Harry for doing whatever, but
he's awful, the worst.
Well,
thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
Let's look at the next chapter.
Ooh, yay.
The missing mirror. Mirror. What does it mean?